Yeah, you said that last week, and was it written and directed by the
It
same?
was. It was. That's where I was going with it before. Marisol Adler wrote the episode last week, or I'm sorry, directed last week and this week, and Dan Nowak wrote last week and this week. Dan Nowak's written a bunch of episodes. This time around, we got to see the whole family, which was great.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. It's the first time in a couple episodes, I believe.
yeah, that we
It's
visited everybody.
I'm still pining to have them together on the Rossi again. I'm just can't wait for that.
I
But
think
we
that's
still have
gonna
a
be like the last scene of episode
yeah,
10 that really gives us that
yeah.
bit of goodness.
Based on where everyone's at, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm. So, um, but yeah, no, this was I love this episode. I thought it was great. We got to see Naomi doing what Naomi does best, and that's solving problems.
So I said she was engineering the shit out of it.
Yes, yes, she was. 145,000%. She was doing that. Um, yeah, that was great. I loved the new Secretary General giving his
A
speech.
pastor,
Yeah,
yes,
Pastor. Thank you. Could not remember his name to save my life just now. That speech was great because he has no confidence in what he's doing, and he like gave this like empowered. We're gonna the greatest manhunt in human history, and we're gonna track down Marco Inaros and all
yeah.
of his associates. And it was like, yeah, you tell him, buddy. You tell
It's
him.
like I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but this is what I'm gonna
I
say.
don't know if I
Which
know what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it. Damn it! And then Admiral Delgado kind of breaking ranks with Christian in that meeting, and then Christian really standing up for like, we're human. We don't just do this. Like if this was Dune, she would be the Bene Gesserit Reverend Mother and asking everyone in the room, "Are you human? Or are you an animal?" Um,
yeah.
and then giving them their Atreides gone to bar. But yeah, it was.
So
Sorry.
no, what I was gonna say is one of the things about Delgado is well, like this, like one of the things he's right about is you can't just sit around. You have to do something. You don't have to like you don't want to rush it, and that's what Pastor says. That's one of the things I actually like about this guy,
Mm-hmm.
where because there's a scene where he calls Delgado in and he wants to hear more about why he's thinking of basically. So basically, his plan was we need to vaporize Palace Station.
Right.
That is kind of Marco's home.
Mm-hmm.
That'll show him that hey, you mess with the wrong people on Earth. And Pastor said, hey, you know what? You're right. We do need to respond, but we have to do the right response. So I like he has a very balanced sense of. It seems like he's very good with keeping his emotions in check.
Right.
We know Christian is a firebrand. Like even if you want to go back to what is his name? The first three seasons, the bad guy, the politician.
Oh,
Salva not Salvatore, that's the MCRN guy.
yeah. I'm drawing a
I'm
blank there
drawing a
too,
blank.
but I know who you're talking about.
But it seems like Pastor has that even keel nature where he can take in this information and not kind of like jump to this is absolutely what we need to do. This is absolutely what we don't need to do. He's just saying, okay, I see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to make the decision what is right and what is wrong.
Right.
And to go bit more back into Delgado, I wonder how much of what he's doing is compensation for his failure to help Christian early a few
Mm-hmm.
episodes ago before all of this happened.
Yeah, because he also got credit for when Pastor announced that she was helping. He had
Right.
said, it's because of Madame Avasarala and Admiral Delgado that so many lives were saved, and he's proud to have them by his side. And and maybe he's just feeling a bit of unworthy of that praise.
Right. Yeah.
So
Especially because remember, what after the first bombings, he said, "Hey, I was a coward," And then when Avazarala didn't say anything, he's like, thanks for disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
Because like he didn't do enough. Like, and part of it was because he was, he has a nice cushy job. And don't get me wrong, he did try. But I think even for him, he knows he could have done more.
Right.
And this is his way. It seems like this is his way of trying to make amends for that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're 100% spot on there. I thought that was great. I feel like we haven't spent enough time on Luna this season. That's kind of
Right.
the one thing that I've been missing. But mainly because I think Avasarala is such a great character, and I hate not getting that like fix every week. I think the other interesting kind of alliance coming back together was when Amos and Peaches finally make it back to Baltimore. And I love how Eric's like, only you can leave a situation, a bad situation, and come back to a worse situation. And I loved when he called him Timmy, and Clarissa looked at Amos like, there's a story there. So
right.
That was really good. And when he accused him of white knighting for some hooker
in brothels,
it's like,
if
it's
you
like,
only knew Eric,
it's like Eric knows Timmy real well, because that's definitely something Amos would do. But no, it was great, and I love Eric. I think Eric is a great character. That guy that plays him is like the right kind of like weaselly and terrifying all at the same time. When he's talking about the rocks hit and how he went up right after and he watched the water just wipe out Washington D.C. and most of Baltimore, and realizing like all these neighborhoods he used to run are gone, and now he's just kind of holed up in his fortress. And Amos is like, how long do you think this is gonna last? We gotta get off of Earth. We gotta get out of here.
And it's funny how it took Clarissa to, I mean, I think he would have finally relented, but it took Clarissa to make him see clearly that, hey, your life here, the life you made is over. It's dead. It's gone.
Yeah.
She told a crazy story about the woman in prison who killed her kids and acted as if they were still alive every morning she woke up.
Right.
Even though she knew they were dead.
Yeah. That was very strange. But that's kind of what crazy people do sometimes. But yeah, it was great. And then, as they were leaving, Amos is like, I saw a case of tequila down there. I think I need a drink because I lost my bottle.
And the way he said it, it was almost like he was like an abashed, like kind of embarrassed. Like, you think we could, maybe get some of these, bring them with us?
Yeah. Now I understand why the episode ended on the note that it ended on, but that would have been a great note to end on, right? If that was the last scene of them making their way to Winnipesaukee Island or whatever it was called.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad it had that like little moment of levity in it, because again,
this was much needed.
Yeah, because we did not get much of that. There was another moment of levity between Drummer and her crew, which the tension that they have right now,
it was
and think about
forced. It was that levity was so like not from a storytelling point of view, but
from their point of view.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you think about how easy they were together when we first got introduced to them. I mean, they're one big family, and and to see, because of the decision they made of aligning themselves with the Free Navy and Marco and the Free Navy, because Oksana tells her like, why are you shutting me out? He's like, we'll get through this, or we'll get through this. We made our decision, and then Drummer says, I don't think I can.
Right.
And they're snipping at each other here and there, and then you have that with the the water spilled in 0G, which, like you said, it was pretty forced in the sense of it was that nervous kind of laughter, and because you didn't forget, they didn't forget about what's going on, right. But it was that 20 seconds that they needed, but then reality came back pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, it was I liked kind of how Camino was the one who let the let the jokes go by, and then she was the one who brought everybody back down to earth.
Yeah. And again, Kara G is, one of my favorite characters on this show. And it's not just we get more from her when one of the things we hear, we know about how Marco set up that distress signal to lure the Rossi to its death. And they actually hear that, and Drummer's like, okay, this is where we're going. And then Carol tells her, Naomi's dead.
Mm-hmm.
She's dead. She jumped out an airlock. She's gone. And this ship, the Chetzamoya, is being used for something you don't need to know about.
Right.
And Drummer, Oksana stops Drummer from first killing Carol, and then Drummer goes off, and just the pain that she exhibits when she's alone in her room, of the thought that Naomi is dead. And then she takes that bottle from that she had saved from Ashford, and then she just downs it, and she's just left to her own device, I think, for the rest of the episode. No one, she's just there on her own. And Kara G, just such a fantastic job of emoting all the emotion of just giving us all the emotions that character is going through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's she's missing her other family, and she's still blaming herself. And the fact that is it Carol? Is that the character's name?
Yes.
That is stationed on her flagship is just reminding her of every mistake she's made
Mm-hmm.
when it came to helping govern the belt.
Yeah, right. And it's funny because what's it, Bertold? He's the guy that he started the snipping when Michio asked, I wonder how Surge is
Mm-hmm.
doing.
Yeah.
And he does make a very good point. He's like one of those that he cuts through the bullshit, and he doesn't always say it in the best of ways that people can absorb. But he tells Michio, like, that's your problem. You're always looking for your past, looking at the past or looking behind you at things you can't change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly where Drummer is right now. She can't let go of, like you said, like, she feels guilty because, again, her vote was the deciding factor in why Marco's not, floating around in space right now.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not, she will never be able to change that. But at the same time, it's so hard for her to let go of that because she's lost Ashford. She saw millions of people get killed on Earth, and now she believes she's lost Naomi. And she's thinking, the only thing she's thinking is, that's on me, because I was the deciding factor in this, and Marco did all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And you might know that you need to let something go, but letting it go is harder than just saying, I'm going to stop thinking about that, especially for a character like Drummer,
Mm-hmm.
that intense type of character.
I keep thinking about what will happen to her if they happen to come across Ashford's body.
Yeah, I will say, luckily, space is such a big place that's not going to happen. But
Right.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah,
I
I
could
couldn't
see
imagine.
them doing that to her though, like the writers
Yeah,
doing that to her to drive her further over the edge. But we know from being book readers where she ends up from all of this. And
right.
I don't want to see her. I feel like she's gone over the edge already, and I want to see her come back to that
Yeah,
cool and calculated Kamina Drummer that is the one of the most badass women and just badass people in the galaxy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
ring gates or otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. I think has to be her rock bottom. Watching her just float around in zero G, holding that
Yeah,
bottle of
in the fetal
liquor.
position.
Yeah, I, I mean, I don't know how you get more rock bottom than that. Like, in the situation she's in. So I I'm hoping that this is kind of like that first step of her getting back to where you just said.
Mm-hmm.
That badass Kamina drummer who, walks out of the command center of Tycho station after being shot, and then brains the two guys that tried to do that mutiny. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the badass that we want to get back. And I really do think this is kind of the first step of her getting to that point.
Right. Yeah, no, I think so. All right, so we got a little bit with Holden and the Rossi crew, or I guess the new Rossi crew. Rossi, what should we call them? The
Rossi Jr., the B team.
the B team, absolutely. Um, and it was they were looking for signs of the proto molecule with the exploded Weiwei or whatever the ship was called, or Zamea. Sorry. And there was nothing there, and they were, well, how do we go after this? And he's like, well, no, we're going after Naomi now. Um, and Bull wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, and there is going to be a conversation between those two, because again, Monica says, no, when Bull says, what do you think he's going to do when he realizes that basically we're not going to be able to save her, or we're not going to be able to find her, or something along those lines. And then Monica says, I don't think he's ready to hear that, or I don't think he's able to hear that. And then Bull says, hey, I'm not risking my life to save his girlfriend.
Yeah.
There's going to be a confrontation between those two of some sort coming up. It just seems, because Bull's that type of person. He's that rough around the edges that grates a lot of people's nerves.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he acts, he's one of those people that you just, at times, you're like, man, I just want to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jose Zuniga, it does such a good job of embracing that part of Bull's character.
Yeah.
So
that was.
But
that was
we didn't
nice.
get a lot. Yeah, we did not get a lot with them. Although we did get word from the Razorback.
Finally,
our boy Alex and Bobby.
Bobby.
And they get the SOS.
Yeah.
They get the fake SOS saying, hey, nav controls tell James Holden I'm in distress.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up relaying it to the Rossi. And so that's kind of where we kind of leave off with Holden and the crew.
So every time anyone says Bobby, I just think of Hank Hill from King of the Hill. Bobby, what is wrong with you, boy? Today's garbage smells completely different than yesterday's. It's the best Bobby Hill line ever. Yeah, no, I loved the Alex and Bobby thing because they did not hesitate, to when they checked the emergency band and they got that, and they were like, all right, let's go. We gotta save our girl. And it was a nice little moment. Hopefully we get more. We keep saying this every week. Hopefully we get more Alex and Bobby. Because if we're to believe what they've said about Kaz, this is it. 2 more episodes with Alex.
Yeah. And that really makes me sad.
And that's the heartbreakingest thing ever. A dude who's just been accused of things. There's not been any court of law or proof or anything about that, and Amazon isn't sticking by him, and that's sad.
Yeah. Very.
But no, Naomi again. Jeez, what an episode! Like, Dominic Tipper is to say she's killing it this season would make it sound like she doesn't kill it in every single episode. But she's killing it this season. Like, yeah. Where's the for your consideration Emmy nomination for female lead in a action series, whatever, just female lead in a drama series?
Yeah.
Let's do it. No more of this Downton Abbey bullshit. Let's get like some awards going for The Expanse. Amazon.
Yeah, really, because this show, I believe, and I'm just going based on what I see when I see headlines about shows. This show is criminally underrated. Yeah, the fans love it, but it's like sci-fi shows generally do not get the break or do not get the credit they deserve. And it's kind of like, a lot of the comic book movies are the same way. For the most, some of them are, when they're really good, they still don't get the credit they deserve, and then you'll get one that, because of a good performance, Dark Knight gets
Yeah.
Oscar, which I'm sorry, did not deserve an Oscar
The
nomination.
only reason Heath Ledger won the Oscar for playing the Joker is because he died.
Absolutely. And again, I loved his performance, and I loved Heath Ledger as an actor, but that is the only reason. But again, with Naomi, I was so uncomfortable in the sense of just based on her just physical discomfort that she displayed, throughout trying to find a way to, gum up the works of what Marco has planned. And, no, she knows the Rossi is the like this is the bait for the Rossi. And, her pushing through her physical, you know, limitations to get done what needed to be done. I mean, Dominic Tipper was just fantastic in that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and the fact that she kept having to go back in, and I totally forgot of the way that the Free Navy left the Chetsmoka, what level of disarray they left it in, because they didn't know Naomi was gonna jump out the airlock and take it over, but they left it that way, so anybody who got on board, there was nothing that they could do to stop what they planned to happen.
Right.
And yeah, it was just, it was awesome. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's heartbreaking watching her just survive the way she does. But yeah,
And I know you said, it would have been kind of funny to see that Amos line being the last line that
right.
you hear. But hearing her, the message, because she goes through a lot to end up changing the message, because she knew she tried to almost, what I guess you would say, write over it, but that didn't work. So she had to go and figure out a way to change the message by. At first, I thought she was doing some type of, SOS or Morse code, until I actually had the subtitles on, and I love that where it's like, "This is Naomi Nagata.
Mm-hmm.
Tell James Holden," and it goes from, "This is Naomi Nagata of the Rossi. Tell James Holden, calm this that." Nav calm, and then it gets to the final one is, "This is Naomi Nagata. Tell James Holden, I'm in control."
Right.
And that was amazing.
Yeah, I told you I was reading some people's reviews of it, and one of the reviews was they never figured out what she was doing, and they couldn't figure out why she kept reciting the message and going back into the room and reciting and what she was doing with the tick marks. And it's, it's, again, this is one of those things where, like, having Naomi's inner monologue here would have been amazing. Just
Yes.
one, to hear Dominic Tipper's voice, just kind of going over and over and hearing the fear and the franticism and everything that went into what made that scene perfect.
Yeah.
That was just added to it so much more.
Yes, that was the ultimate version of showing and not telling. Because the one thing I missed, and the first round is when she's doing the tick mark, she looks at kind of like the technical specs of the ship, and it shows kind of like the volume, air volume, and some other stuff. And I didn't realize that she was doing that, and I kind of got a spoiler from this because I think it was in the after show. They mentioned the tick marks was because every time she opened the door, like some air would seep out, and so she only had a certain amount of air, so that's why she kept doing those tick marks to know, okay, I have this amount to get. And that's one of the things that you might not, I could see why you wouldn't have picked up on, because it wasn't as, because again, like the first run through, I totally missed her looking at those technical specs. I might have looked away or something like that. But to your point, like her in some, kind of having a kind of like a run on type monologue in her, or voiceover of her, what's going on in her head. I think that would have been able to. I think that would have added a little bit of something, that scene, and it would definitely would have allayed some of the confusion that people had of what she was doing, what was going on.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But then again, they've never really done that. So the most they've done that with is Holden when he's talking to when he's talked to Miller. So I guess
Yeah.
it's one of those things, like we haven't done it since, we haven't done it, in these first 5 seasons, so we're not going to do it now.
Yeah.
Type
No,
thing.
I get it. I just think it would have made a cool scene even cooler.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So, yeah, dude. So I think out of busted airlocks, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5.
I'm going to keep it at that 4. I do think, and this is what I want to do. I do want to watch last week and this week's back to back, when the season's over, because I want to see how, because again, you made this point last week, as far as you thought this was a part 1 of a part 2 episode, and it absolutely was.
And I think that's going to be the next 2 episodes as well, because it's the same writing, directing staff. No, I love this episode. I mean, it was the most anxiety ridden I've been watching a TV show in a long time. And I loved every second of it. And even though it's something where, we know what's going to happen for the most part because of the books, the tension and the drama was still 100% there.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And like I said, I was uncomfortable the whole episode. Like every time we cut back to Naomi, it's just imagining what she's going through. Like I was just uncomfortable and tense that like the whole time we were on her.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. So yeah, such a good week. We are blessed with The Expanse on Tuesday nights. We're getting cool ass WandaVision on Fridays. I finished Vikings finally.
I am 2 episodes away. No, or is it 1? No, 2.
Yeah, I'll say this: Vikings for me, I always am slow going to pick it back up with the new seasons. But like once I hit that like 3rd or 4th episode, then I'm like all in, and it's like, yeah, let's go watch. This season, it was like the 6th episode before I was like really like, yeah,
that's funny.
This.
Because remember when I told you how it started off? Like I wasn't a big fan of it the first few episodes.
Yeah.
The last couple episodes have really picked things up for me, at least. So I'm really excited to see these the final 2.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to talk about the finale with you at some point because. Or, well, is it the finale? It's the second, maybe, no, it's the second to last episode. There's something cool that happens where, like, you think something even cooler is about to happen. But then something still kind of cool happens. And it's, like, nice. But I don't know. I like, is it Yubi? Is that his name?
Uba.
He's probably my favorite of Ragnar's remaining kids.
Oh, he's absolutely my favorite of Ragnar's kids,
and,
other than remaining kids.
Yeah, remaining the living ones. I mean, Bjorn Ironside is like,
Yeah.
I will say just real quick on Vikings. I know we haven't talked about that much on the show, but considering not a single character from the first season is left on the show, it is. I think that in and of itself is a testament for the fact that this show went on for. Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Since, what was it, season 4, they started doing season A and B. So.
Right. Yeah. And I wasn't sure how
seasons, whatever it's been.
I was not sure when you lose your 2 of your stars. Well, I guess you could call Rollo one of the. He was one of the main characters.
I wasn't even talking about Rollo. I was talking about Lagatha and Bjorn and Ragnar. But yeah, losing Rollo was huge, and the fact that he only came back once.
Yeah.
And like, because Taken, the TV show, was really dumb. Really, really, really dumb. And like, I like the Taken movies. The Taken movies are really dumb too, but like, they're really fun dumb. the NBC like network television version of I've got a skill set. Yeah, but you're not going to use it because it's network television. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry,
Yeah,
did I say that out loud?
yeah. But yeah, again, I think I said this was the last week or the week before. This is an example of Michael Hirsch, who's the creator, has written. I'm pretty sure he's written every single episode of Vikings. So you get that, which I mean, I don't know how he did that. Like, just
masterful storyteller.
Yeah, because this isn't. Mind. Yeah, this is not a show that does 8 or 10 episodes a season. You know, the last 3 seasons have been 20 episodes. I know they've been split up, you know, in the A and B, but still, that's a ton of writing, and you know, get that connection of story flow and stuff. I mean, he's just done a great job with this, and I am looking forward to see what he's doing. They're going to do a spinoff. I don't remember what it's called though, so I'll be watching that too.
Cool. Yeah, I'll watch the spinoff as long as it's free on Prime or Hulu. But all right. Well, on that note, thank you guys for listening this week. Make sure to check out our Patreon. Make sure to check us out, like and subscribe on YouTube. If you like the show, the podcast wise, if you're listening on iTunes or you want to go over to Pod Chaser, and leave a 5-star review, that would be spectacularly awesome, and we would appreciate it greatly. But yeah, any last words, buddy?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Looking forward to doing doing our commentary on WandaVision.
Yep. And oh yeah, last week I said the commentary was going to come out on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I ended up putting it up on Saturday. So look for that immediately after we finish, because that doesn't take any time at all to post. So
WandaVision.
On that note, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.